penal system in this country that can help people like yourself that are exonerated and need to come back and return to their...
That's really a tough question. I mean, people in society have to figure out what they want their penal system to do. Do you want it to be strictly punishment? Do you want it to be rehabilitative? Do you want some balance of both? Because right now, it's completely out of balance. It's not even punishment, it's just wasted time. You know, so much emphasis is put on security, and it's crazy because honestly, I feel safer walking in a maximum security prison than I do the streets of Chicago. Nothing gets stolen in prison. I mean, you know, you see everything and everybody, and we all know each other, but out here it's like, it's so much driving people away from each other, where in prison we figured out how to come together. So the people have to decide what they want their prison system to do and convince their legislatures, you know, to listen to the guys that's getting out. You have like guys in our orbit who are executive directors of programs out here who are doing really, really great and fantastic things despite the system, not that, you know, because of the system. You know, it was the brotherhood that really helped them. I would wish that there was some way that the formerly incarcerated people could have a say in the system. But you look at where the prisons are located, it's a different culture, and it's so disconnected from the people coming into the system. It's hard for someone in, say, Chester, Illinois, to relate to someone from Inglewood, London. Most of the people in the system, like, it's just totally different. But there needs to be a way that the communities that the prisons are located in have to come and face the music to the people that are feeding the system. How is it you can have a system where the director doesn't come into Chicago and address the people of Chicago and explain what your programs are? What are your spending priorities? Why is, you know, the union so effective in running good directors off? Because I think we've had like 4 or 5 directors in the last 4 or 5 years in the system that were really trying to implement change. But the union fights so hard for every dollar. And they know that we are the problem. They have to share that with us. And it's, you know, but it's like, for whatever it is going on in society, that, you know, we need to kind of like have a reconciliation with the people who work in the system, the people who live in the system, and the people who control the system, which are the people that stay with the Lord, need to figure out how they can sit down and figure out how to help everybody.
Thank you. Before the program began, you were sharing with me that you had just established a non-for-profit. Can you tell us a little bit more about that as a mission? So, I did a lot of programming in prison, but the last few years of it was we started out as a Dixon workshop. I mean, we were literally scouring textbooks, trying to figure out how to write plays, and we were guys in galleries and on tiers, rehearsing the metaphors for the spoken words, and we came together, and Warden gave us an opportunity to do a showcase. And we kind of like thrilled the system with it. You know, we were like, the guys, I remember, demanded that we do an encore. They just inundated the board's office with letters because of the play. What we addressed was the struggle to keep your identity in prison, to not get lost in, I guess, the things you see on TV, the gangsterism, the hustleism, and all that. To just keep your integrity and your principles and values intact. That's what's the crux of our play. I remember Brother Nolan right there, he played Conscience. That was his character. He was in a struggle with this other guy, G-Rock Ward, who just walked into the arena right there. He was, you know,
he was the prototypical thug prisoner, and they had this guy who was just fighting, the tugging one way or the other. And we did that, and we realized that we can message effectively. That we can not only message effectively and put on good entertainment, but teach, but we can journalism. It was our journalism. It was our way that if we became good enough playwrights, then we can probably reach outside to an organization like Steel Point, to an organization like the Chicago Torture Justice System, and say, here we are, here's our humanity, here's what we focused on, now come in community with us, because we have an infrastructure here that's ready to roll up our sleeves and do the work. And now, most of us are out. We have their core group that started, so it's like, we don't want to stop. So we decided to stand up a not-for-profit called the Mud Dead Project. And mud means, a couple of things. One meaning, like in prison, we didn't have lighting, sound systems. We did theater very much like this in a hot church, and we did it effectively. So we out here, we're saying we can do theater anyway with a purpose of social change. We wrote all our own material. We never did anything else anybody else did. We sat in the room, worked it out, and we want to do that in the community out here. We want to replicate what we did inside for the hard-pressed communities that maybe don't have a voice. We want to be that platform to write and give them a voice to present it, because we made the system fit us, from the inside. And we messaged to the system where I remember officers started to come and look at what we were doing, lieutenants, the wardens, internal affairs, they would all come. And they couldn't find fault. So in a way, some of the conversations that we had, I felt like the tide was turning a little bit on the inside. And I make that analogy because the people that run the city, for instance, if we were able to successfully go in Londale or go in Inglewood, get the voice of that community and write a production that speaks for them, maybe the city will listen, maybe, the people in the downtown area, will listen and be like, maybe we need to live in this community, maybe it has value. So that is our goal,
Thank you. Through all this ordeal, Brian, what have you learned about yourself?
So much. You have to be resilient. You can't give up. I've had some lows, some highs, but just staying in the middle of it. Staying focused, staying on mission, safeguarding my integrity. Staying true to my principles. Understanding that I'm constantly changing entity. That who I was at, say, 15. Completely different person at 57 today. Even who I was at 47, 37, and accepting that change. Not only accepting, but leaning into it and finding out how to be the best version of who I am today by being prepared to be the best version of who I will be tomorrow. So, that's one of the lessons I learned in prison, because essentially I have no control over that environment. I don't really have control over this environment I'm in. But just being able to rest on the principles and values and understand any storm that life is going to throw at you.
Right, your family is here. Is there something that you want to tell them that you have not told them or have heard?
Right, so my sister, I think I've told her everything it is to know about me over the 35 years of my incarceration. And my niece, who was like another sister, very close to age, she probably won't even say that. We kind of grew up like brother and sister, I'm so thankful for them staying with me every day of that incarceration. And now even after incarceration, staying with me, being patient with me when I go through acclimating myself out here. My nephew, who's been supporting me, Harry right there, class a little bit, got a lot going on. But nevertheless, I know I can depend on him, you know, so, I love y'all. It's plain and simple.
As we conclude our conversation here, is there anything else that you want to mention to close?
You know, I don't want to be preaching because I've said a lot about the system. You know, I just sort of feel like that people out here have kind of forgotten that you control the system. You know, when you're in prison, the system is right there in your face every day. You know, when the cell doors are open at 8 and you get antsy, or when they say they let you out at 8:15 and tell you to lock right back up at 8:17. I mean, the system is right there in your face. For out here, you cannot lose sight that you control the system. People are being controlled by the system. You know, it's like we need more people to stand up and address change to make the system work better, to retake control of it. Because if you don't, we're going to keep having these bad outcomes. You know, fortunately, there are a lot of great organizations, Still Point, CTJC. I mean, all of you know who are out in the field doing the work, trying to change the system. And I just hope y'all keep up the work. You know, Dr. Phillips, I can't say enough, because I was a part of her writing program where she paired me with a student. And the exchanges was so endearing, you know, because, you know, I'm 57, I think I was writing with a 19-year-old, and it was just having that perspective, but it was such a precious thing for me to have that experience. And you need to count, you know, I tell organizations that I talk to, you have to remember that the people in prison are coming home. So put them on your, you know, find a way to make them members. You know, find a way to reach out to them. Find a way to help them remember that they are a part of this community out here. And you will get better outcomes. The recidivism rate would drop. You know, violence in the city would drop. The influence that they have, now I'm not saying they're the ones doing the violence, but the influence that they potentially have will make a difference when they come back out. I can point to so many formerly incarcerated people around the city doing the right thing without any, you know, without anybody knowing about it. They're doing the right thing for the right reasons. So just you know, think about the system and how we can find balance in it so the city can get us something.
Ryan, thank you so much for making the time to be here to share with all of your experiences. It's been an honor to be here with you.